We continue our conversation right here on SportsLive. We're now joined by SAFA Chief Executive, Mr. Dennis Mumble, on SportsLive. This after SAFA held an extraordinary congress over the weekend. Mr. Mumble, thank you very much for joining us on the show. I asked you just before you came back on air, what is extraordinary about this one?
Well, because it wasn't an ordinary Congress. Our ordinary Congress is going to be in December.
Take us through. I mean, what were the main talking points as far as...
Well, a number of things that we wanted to achieve over the weekend. You know, it's a part of a long process that we've been going through for the last 4 or 5 years to align our statutes and keep it relevant, keep it current. You know, with developments in the world of football, developments in company legislation, tax legislation. And to try and create new standards for the game from the grassroots on up, so from our local football associations to our regions to our provinces. We approved new statutes or standard statutes that can be uniform for all structures of SAFA around the country. So now we have a new local football association statute, or a template that can be adapted for each local football association. Similarly, we did that for the regions as well, and something new is to empower our provinces.
Yeah. Another one thing that I think came up, the possible appointment of a new COO. Mr. Jamjas is one of the names that came up. The likelihood of that, I mean, is that something that you're seriously looking into, to have some directly operations, and a good administrator, Mr. Jamjas, would be in that sense?
Well, I don't want to, mention names. I see there's some speculation in the media about names, but yes, we have been in the market for a COO. You know, I've been holding down both roles for the last 2.5 years for a number of different reasons. I think it's the time now for me to focus on some other strategic projects. You know, we're establishing a national technical center here in Johannesburg that needs to be built up a little bit more. And there's some, our commercial program needs to get off the ground a little bit. We're going to report some good financial results this year. I'd like for that to be better next year. So I need to go out there, pound the pavements, and raise some additional finances for our programs. So I need some assistance. Definitely going forward, so I am going to put in place a COO fairly soon. The names I'm not going to mention yet.
Fair enough, but I'm looking at this. Your framework, basically, as far as the resolutions as well is concerned, looks primarily at Vision 2022 with the youth in mind, going to school level, if I can put it that way, basic education also involved. The buy-in is there, actually. But as the sports ministry, as far as the buy-in concerned, how is that coming up? Because if you don't get the buy-in from the education department, it will be tough to infiltrate that.
Well, we've got an excellent relationship with the Minister of Sport and Recreation in South Africa, the DG, who understand what it is that we want to achieve. We've had a really good meeting with the Minister of Minister of Basic Education, and we are going into a really productive partnership with the Department of Basic Education. Vision 2022 for us meant a number of different things, and one of those things that we were looking forward to making sure that at least 10% of the South African population plays football by 2022, meaning that we need to move from the current 3 million that we have to 5.5 million that we expect to be. We expect the South African population to be around 55 million by 2022, perhaps more. But the target is here that we need to organize 10% of the South African population to play football. I
mean, the population is big enough, but the question is that, I mean, if SAFA, personally, I feel it is stretched as it is now, especially with the regions, it is get a bit tough to go around. The likelihood of that actually happening. Or would you rather say, look, let's aim high, and if you get there, we get there, or then say, look...
No, we'll get there. There's no doubt. There are 2 areas of expansion that we've identified. One is women's football. The other one is schools football. We have not done, I think, enough to broaden the base of women football players in the country. So there we are going full blast in a similar way that we're doing for schools football. But in the schools, we are going to integrate schools football into all of our local football associations. You know, we currently have 341 local football associations. So we pair those local football associations with schools in their areas, and immediately we can reach about 24,000 schools. There are about 27,000 schools, I understand, in the country, and so in the short to medium term, we can already touch 24,000 schools. Now, for successful football nations, you know, when we looked at it, we found out that many of them organize about 10% of their own country's populations and to play football. And basically, we thought that by doing so, we would also broaden the pool of talent that we have access to. And really, one of my dreams is that at the end of the day, when the kid looks at this national team, whichever the national team it is, whether it's Bafana, that kid must know that for me to get to Bafana one day, I must go to school. And if we could do that, you know, we would have gone a long way to assist in this nation building process that we are you know, undertaking in this country. So
let's look at the junior teams right now. One just came back earlier today overseas. Qualifiers, the Banyana playing well. Happy days so far, and as far as that's concerned. I don't want to speak about the men's team, the senior national team. I want to speak about the teams that really don't get mentioned as much.
Well, you know, we are sending off the under-17 team tomorrow to the World Cup. They're going to play a couple of matches in Brazil, for instance, before they get to the World Cup, to give them a little bit more experience and a taste for South America, where the competition will be taking place. They've done very well so far. You saw them play against Chile yesterday, and I think they did quite well. They are a really motivated bunch of players. The under-20 women's national team, as you know, they also played over the weekend, and they are now you know, going to come back into camp for the second leg of the match. And Banyana is in camp as we speak, getting ready to play Equatorial Guinea. We found out this afternoon or this morning that disputed match must now be played. You know, there was a dispute between Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea. That match will now be played, and we're preparing for that match as well. So yeah, all our national teams are, you know, always every week there's one or two national teams in camp. We said we're going to keep our teams busy, and I think we've done that.
We're going to run out of time. One more question I see here. And as far as SAFA is concerned, moving from an NGO to be hopefully financially viable, to be a big hit, and as far as finance is concerned?
Well, you know, we never look to post a massive profit. This organization's needs are so huge. We're such a big organization that everything all the money that we make will be plowed back right into the development of the game around the country. But we need to be able to demonstrate that there's some stability in the organization by posting a surplus to give confidence to our corporate partners that we are managing their money very well, and that we are continuing to grow the game. So yes, we're reporting better results this year than we did last year, and hopefully, as I said before, next year I'd like for us to report even better results by growing this organization's financial basis.
Well, that augurs very well, obviously, for football as a whole. Mr. Dennis Mumble, thank you very much for joining us on Sports Live. Appreciate you taking the time. I know it's short notice, but we appreciate you coming to speak to us. Dennis Mumble, Chief Executive Officer at the South African Football Association, speaking to us about that extraordinary meeting they had over the weekend. Sports Live.